Okay, yeah.
Hello, welcome to Priyanka Banerjee's wonderful book launch for Touches and
Hi.
Turbulences. I'm Dustin Pickering, and today we have Priyanka with us. And I first came upon her poetry online through Facebook, where she reached out to me, and I found it fascinating. I think there's a great deal of passion, just passion, just in the sense of justice. I think that the poetry itself speaks for its own criterion, and I really believe in that she's going to put out some more interesting works in the future. I really found this book specifically fascinating because of its cosmology. She talks a lot about transparency and so forth, and transparent things, which gives me, it kind of stimulates my imagination quite a bit. And she posts to Facebook, so if you're on Facebook and you watch this launch, please take a look at her Facebook and give some readings on her poetry there. And I'm Dustin Pickering. I am editor and chief at worldinkers.com, as well as Transcendent Hero Press. We ran a magazine called Harbinger Asylum for a little time. And anyway, don't want to take too much time off from Priyanka's presentation. So I introduced myself, and now I turn it over to her to discuss her poetry and how she became a writer and what motivates her to continue writing. Go ahead, Priyanka.
Uh, well, Dustin, actually, I started writing poetry during the pandemic period. Okay, so before that, I used to write quotes and Bengali poems, but I started writing English poems during the pandemic period. And poetry, offers me a space, an infinite space to dwell in, and my soul experiences infinite joy and happiness whenever I delve deep into myself and start exploring myself. So, touches and turbulences is about the touches which rejuvenate my soul and the turbulences that are experienced in the external world as well as in the internal world. So that is how I explain the title of my book. And you asked me what motivates me to write poetry. Actually, it is not only, I think that each and every poet has, experienced an internal journey, that is, the journey that happens within. It's not about an external journey, but how the soul is, develops, how the soul evolves, how the self emerges, and how, each and every person, human being, is always aspiring to reach a higher level of existence in his or her life. There are turbulences in this world, in life. There are always blows, and there are attacks and counterattacks, and so many problems are there. But literature or poetry always offers you a very, very personal, private space through which you can explore yourself. You can explore this infinite universe. So, in touches, Shahnazar sir has just sent me a message, Justin. He's just trying to, there are some technical glitches, and for that, he's a bit late, but he'll be joining very soon. Uh, so what happens now in this particularly in this book, that is Touches and Turbulences, I have written poems about my innermost self. Okay, I have written poems about refugee crises. I have written poems about, woman, because many poems are about feminine strength, feminine energy. Because being a woman, I always feel that in not only India but in other countries also, we women often we have to, we are forced to act as the marginalized section of the society. So we need to speak up and we need to raise our voice. And that is why I have written many poems which really inspire women a lot. So, it is not only about an individual's crisis. This book is about all. This book is about the entire universe. It's about human beings. And one thing I must mention that my editor, Muhammad Shahnazar sir, who wrote the preface for my book, has taught me a lot. He taught me to be a poet who will, express his or her innermost emotions that will be universal in nature. A poet must talk about the upliftment of the society. She must write about the upliftment of each and every human being. So it is not only about my personal journey or personal emotions. I think about all. I think about my nation. I think about my ancestors. I think about the Native American tribes. I think about, the border margin issues. I think about, the death of a female infant. So I turn into many selves when I start writing poetry. I do no more remain Priyanka Banerjee, an individual. I become, Nirbhaya, the woman who got raped horribly in Delhi. Okay, I feel like the pain of those tribal women who are brutally murdered. Okay, who were brutally murdered in Oklahoma. Dustin, they are natives, those tribes, they had to experience genocide. Okay, right. So I feel the troubles of the pain of the refugees of Syria. So I become many, from one to many. This is a journey from one to many. And my touches and turbulences is about, all those subtle touches of emotions which appeal not to one but to many.
Well, thank you for that lovely discussion of your book, and I especially enjoy how you transform the many into the one kind of thing that you discussed there. I believe we have Mohammed with us. He is hopefully going to be able to connect pretty soon.
Yeah. Shahnazar sir is with us. Uh,
Yeah, it looks like he's going to be on. Or I wonder if he can hear us and if he can speak or try to see if
yeah,
we can.
yeah. Hello, Shahnazar sir. Can you hear me?
I think he's
Uh,
still connecting.
yeah, his
Would you
son
like?
is helping.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
If you want, you can read a poem from the book, and we can talk about it a little bit,
yeah.
and then we'll go into
Uh,
his paper that he wants to present.
yeah. Actually, there are many long poems in my book. I think that you have read the entire book, Dustin.
Hmm.
So, actually, I'm really confused because I love many poems that I have written. Uh, uh, okay. Hello, welcome, sir, welcome, brother. I am Priyanka here. Hi,
Hello, I'm
sir.
here from Pakistan, Mohammed Shahnazar. How are you?
Yeah,
Hello, nice
greetings
to
from
meet you,
India.
sir, and nice to
Nice to
see
Uh,
meet
you.
you, sir.
thank you, thank
After
you, thank
1 year, finally we meet here.
you.
Nice
Okay,
to meet
okay.
I'm
you.
sure you have a lot to say about the book, and I would love to hear what your
Yeah,
thoughts
yeah.
are on it.
I have the same sentiment, sir.
You were my mentor, sir. You told me not to write about personal emotions, but about the world, about the
Ah,
sufferings
yeah.
of human beings. I was telling Dustin
I'm
about
very,
it.
very happy. Very. Okay.
Yeah. Dustin, shall I read a poem of mine and then Shanazar sir will, talk about my book?
We, if you would like to read a poem, yes, please do.
Okay.
I
So,
think I should read out the paper I have written very brief. I
yes,
have
Okay.
yes,
written
sir.
very
Yes,
brief
yes,
a
sir.
paper because
Yes,
here
sir.
is the fluctuation of light and internet.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Okay.
Yes, yes.
great. That's a
Yeah,
good
yeah,
idea.
yeah. Yeah, that's a
Okay.
Go
good
ahead,
Okay.
idea. Yeah.
and you can go ahead and present, and then we'll let Priyanka read a poem after that.
Oh,
I,
yeah,
I,
yeah.
I,
Sure, sure.
I shall read out. I shall read out a brief paper on Priyanka Banerjee. Okay,
Yes,
because
brother.
here I'm not certain that light will go on anytime where
Yeah,
an internet may be disconnected.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Uh, Respected Dustin Pickering, dear Priyanka Banerjee, and all other honorable participants, I, from the depth of my heart, am grateful to you for inviting me in the virtual book launching event of Priyanka Banerjee's book, Touches and Turbulences. It is a matter of great pride and pleasure for me, and I congratulate her on publication of her first book. I have gone through her poetry and want to express my views in brief. I'm lucky enough to have been acquainted with Priyanka Banerjee. At the first glance, I didn't take serious interest in her work, but as soon as I began to heed to her diction, poetic thought, and imagery, my interest began to enhance. Intensity and curiosity also increased. I felt as if I entered into some unexplored world with unexpected grandeur and beauty, unexplored, with all uh, convolutions and sophistications. A world wrapped in multicolored light. Banerjee knows well that poetry without sensual sentiments and pleasures always loses its worth and effect. That is why she engages all senses at the same time to affect and change the reader by exerting influence of her persona. Her poem Mysteries of Love is a vivid example of her sensuality. Here I Here all senses go side by side. The phrase butterfly sucks honey refers to taste. The fair woman lies in the soft grassy floor refers to touch. The veil of fog softly touches. The turbulent stream refers to seeing. The world of shrieks and scream refers to hearing. And I found paradise while smelling your breath refers to the sense of smelling. Though this poem is replete with all elements of sensuality, yet there is no speck of vulgarity. She expresses all sentiments with untrodden, dignified diction. Poetry devoid of love is full. Poetry devoid of love is dull and drab. Love is a reality of life. It makes life worth living, and its absence changes life into punishment. Priyanka is well aware of the fact, and she often thinks of love and perpetual life force and a source of procreation. Priyanka's poetry is very vast and profound, horizontally and vertically. When a serious reader delves deep, he finds the firmament unfurling and the reader gets lost in a state of astonishment and consequently becomes its part. Our poetry is replete with instances of marvelous imagery. Our images are the creation of her own magnificent mind. She does not opt the flattened traces and rather cuts her own path. She rather cuts her own path. Priyanka's poetry sometimes consists of themes that purely pertain to philosophy and mysticism. It seems that she is well aware of the mysteries where beyond the carnal and physical world, time and timelessness, silence and eloquence, vibrations and stillness merge into one. Priyanka's poetry not only preaches for love, but also expresses a dire and intense desire to be loved. A desire to be loved is not a shallow longing, but an unfathomable carving. Craving. Poetry is the source of catharsis for Priyanka. It is also source of inspiration and encouragement through which she conquers over her pain and agony of her soul caused by the fellow beings. She doesn't lose herself in bewilderment, but moves ahead by accepting a series of challenges which being finally pacify her quests. Priyanka is not ignorant to the beauties of nature. Her description is not Wordsworthian. She takes into consideration uproarious and commotive aspects of nature too. Our nature is an actual amalgam of pleasances and resentments. Priyanka moves and oscillates within two extremities of her own universe. She has the desire to touch the burning sun and, on the other hand, the frozen drops of rain. Her heterogeneous desires makes her rebel rather very distinct from other poets. It requires an elaborate effort to judge Priyanka's work. Each attempt of reading describes and unfurls her unexplored dimension, which convinces the reader to assert without any question her greatness. The critics in future will bring out from the depth of her poetry more significance. In every respect, her diction, style, and seriousness in thought are not less than Emily Dickinson, Christina Rossetti, Elizabeth Barrett, Sylvia Plath, and Maya Angelou. I recommend to the Indian government that her poems be introduced in the reading curricula at degree and master level. Priyanka Banerjee is a diamond. She deserves to be embellished at a proper place in the throne, in the crown. I hope that she will never quit her poetic journey. The world expects more gems and jewels after our every poetic voyage. At the end, being Secretary General of the World Institute for Peace, Nigeria, I declare her Poet of the Year 2022. The certificate will be issued to her soon. Best wishes for her and all residents of the world. Muhammad Shahnazar from Pakistan. Thank you for your
Thank
patience.
you very much, sir. I feel honored. Extremely, I
Thank you.
salute you being a representative of the United Nations.
Poet
And
of the Year 2022.
thank you, sir.
I have
This is the
declared you
greatest
Poet
gift.
uh, of the Year 2022. Okay, certificate will
Congratulations,
be issued
ma'am.
very soon.
Thank you.
This
Thank you.
Congratulations, Priyanka.
really
Well
Congratulations,
deserved.
deserved.
ma'am.
Really. Thank
Would you
you
like
for
And
to?
your patient. And now you may move on. Okay.
I would
and
like
I
to.
must say a few things, Dustin. I
Thank you.
met
Thank
you
you.
later, but Shahnazar sir has been with me like my brother, my friend,
Yeah.
philosopher, mentor,
I also
guide,
consider
everything,
I also
everything. You do,
consider sister,
yeah,
and it is my wish that
friend,
I should
yeah,
go
student,
to India
everything.
and meet the people and bring the nations together.
Yeah, and another thing is definitely Sir is from Pakistan, and after meeting Sir, I realized that how dull and stupid those people are who always cherish this because
Yeah.
of this existing enmity between two nations. Because Pakistan has such gems like Shahnazar Sir who never distinguish between two human beings, and I learned to
I
be
have,
to
I have never been voiced. I have never been voiced. If I
never been
love
biased.
to,
Yeah, I'm a Hindu woman. Sir knew that very well, but he supported me so much as if I am his family member. And he's from Pakistan. Can you imagine, Shuchishmita? And he's a member of the United
I
Nations.
invite you here. I
Really?
invite you here in Islamabad, Pakistan, and you will be you will be my
Definitely,
guest.
sir. Definitely, sir.
Okay.
I
I
will
shall wait for
definitely.
the opportunity and come
Excellent
to
person he is.
Yeah, he is an excellent person because he fought for the refugees. He fought for all those marginalized people. He is regularly invited by Mexican government, Nigerian government, so many governments, Israel, I mean
lot of
Palestinian government.
invitations I see in a year. So
Thank you,
many.
sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
Thank,
Thank
you.
you
Thank
so
you.
much. Would
thank
you
you
like to
very
read a
much, sir.
poem, Priyanka,
Yeah,
from your
yeah.
book?
honored. I feel
Yes,
honored.
sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
And
Thank you for
Star is
joining
so
us.
humble, Shutishmita. Have you noticed it? Both Dustin and Shahnazar, they
Yes,
two are
yes.
James, and yeah, these two persons. I exist
My,
in the
my
world
name.
of
Okay. My name is Shahnazar, not Shahnazar. No,
Shan-
Shahnazar. Shahnazar. Shahnazar.
Shahnazar.
Shahnazar.
Shahnazar. Actually,
Shahnazar.
I must also say one thing. Exist in this world of literature because I get too much of motivation and strength from these two friends of mine, Dustin and Shanazar sir. They motivate me and they stand by me always. Okay, so I am now reading a poem.
You are a talented poet. You are a talented poet, and your style is very
Different.
distinct.
I
Yes,
agree.
distinctive.
Distinct is the word.
Distinct.
And another thing I also remember, I used to send poems to Shahnazar sir and to Dustin also. They would read
Yeah.
my poems and I would ask them, sir, is there any fault? Dustin sir, is there any fault? And they never said no to me. Those were weak poems. There were so many faults, but they never pointed it out. They always said, yes, yes, excellent. Carry on. Okay,
Wonderful.
so this is a poem that is about, this is very philosophical, Dustin. So and it's about the internal world that Sir told, that I'm very much sensuous in my poems, and at the same time I am deeply philosophical. So this is a poem like that, in which that Sir told that I deal with the heat of the sun and the cold frozen drops of rain at the same time. So this is a poem about these two contradictory aspects of life. Nights and whispers. Let the nights be my rocking cradles, and let the days be my challenges. The
Yes.
lady plays on her violin, and the strain of romance creates a star in the flying eagle's heart. Her pores can speak to the stars and negate the fires with absolute calmness and a zealous spirit that comes out of the heart. The whirling eagle knows the differences between dust and nest. Why can't the beast take rest from its eternal search for objects of love or lust? Symphony is created out of the mad soldier's brutal death. Even death has its own grandeur, and the dancer's limbs know the secrets of the rhythmic motion of life and death. And whatever that's beyond life and death, The pattern of primordial images cannot wipe out traces of love from the quivering lips of the touched lady of the distant world where they have kept her lover imprisoned, forcing him to disbelieve in love, rhythm, and in the eternal grandeur of life. Repression, domination of perennial sensation, annihilation of the self. Even the desert of Sahara has its own tale of love and lust, and the dancing Bedouins, while unfolding their vests, create another tale of alternate universe. The thorny cactus knows secrets of the Crusaders' mad zeal, and how the Jews defied the bloodshot eyes. The fetus is about to be born and reborn in the Westland, and its folded skin and hairless head will give birth to a new milieu, a new century, a new light year. No fear, no fear. The golden streak of light touches her bruised breasts. Resurrection is about to heal up the forsaken self. The much tortured body, the much obliged self, the much cherished ideology, the much suffered wanderer. Let the rocking cradle break the rocks of mountains, caves, prison walls. Let whispers of love and madness of the rebel's heart conquer the center of the dried up earth. Too much of love will ruin the world. Too much of lovelessness ruin it too. Let's strike a balance by discarding the differences between the master and the slave. Let's look at the stars and love them calmly, respecting both the distance and space and the infinite ocean of nothingness that engulfs each and every wave with utmost silence. Let's be silent and part with each other, respecting the other's need and the need of the hour too. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much,
Awesome
Priyanka.
recitation too.
Awesome. We have about 8 minutes left, and I just wanted to comment on the dialectic you present in that poem. The master and slave dialectic I noticed was really interesting, and I found that in that poem particularly to be fascinating. If you don't mind, I'd like to read one myself of yours, my unfinished poem. If you would like me to read that, I
Definitely, definitely,
go ahead and
definitely.
do that. I have to take my glasses off to do that, but I will. Read this. Stamping upon the heated bed of golden sand, I dare move ahead. I can feel the impulsive motion of the whirling stars under my bare, burnt up feet. Let my shining particles of holy stardust kiss and adore the dull feast of life. Let the celebrations of ceremonies pull my split self toward the rocking cradle that breeds eternal strifes. I perish, I melt, I concretize, yet I breathe, I survive not for thee, but for me. Beautiful poem.
Yes,
Very,
it's a
very
really a
much
beautiful poem.
self-realization there going on.
Yes.
Wonderful. So we have a little bit of time, 7 minutes or so. If anybody wants to say some fine words and share some sentiments about the book, we'd love to hear that.
Shruti hasn't read the book yet, so
Okay.
she can't say anything about the book now. I think she will read the book in future. She'll definitely read the book.
Definitely, ma'am.
Uh, I I would love to read out a small poem from my
Okay.
book. If Dustin and Shahnazar sir, you allow me to read it.
Sure.
Move on. Move on.
Okay, sir, this
I
is
shall
a
love
very
to
short.
listen.
Thank you, sir. A long one or a short one?
We have about 6
Yeah.
minutes.
6 minutes left. And Dustin is so particular about time.
But I just want to make sure
Okay.
we don't get cut off. Yeah, that's okay. Go ahead.
Sir, this is a very, brother, this is a very short poem, but it's fantastic. I'm reading it out. In between you and me, the dancing words create a new world that's deeply embedded into silence. Let's float. Let's shine. Let intense thoughts awaken the dead conscience. The sun taste sea. It knows the secrets of the faded moments. No loss is a loss when one overcomes the temptations of senses. Thank you very much.
Very beautiful.
Thank you
Very
so
beautiful.
much, Priyanka. Beautiful. And you read so well, so passionately. And this book, I really hope this launch helps push this book forward. And I can't wait to see your next book, which will be published hopefully in the next few months.
Yes.
It'll be
And
wonderful.
thank you, Shahnazar sir, brother. Thank you, Dustin. Thank you, Shutishmita, for being with me in this journey.
And
Shahnazar
ma'am,
sir.
moreover, I must have to say that I'm really blessed that you gave me the opportunity to meet both of them. Huh. Thank you so much.
Shahnazar
Awesome
It's
sir,
nice to meet you.
she is my colleague in
being
my school.
here, sir.
It is
Yeah,
my
and
pleasure. Okay.
and Shutishmita, both Shahnazar sir and Dustin were with me when I was a jobless person. They supported me, they
Oh,
empowered me, and today I'm the rector of your school. So a big salute to them for this also.
obviously, absolutely,
Good
ma'am.
Silence
luck.
has silence is also meaningful. Silence
Yes.
is also meaningful and solution of many issues.
Yeah, you told me that,
So
sir.
is also
Yeah.
Wonderful. So we'll
Okay.
conclude this now, and I'm going to stop
Yes.
recording. And thank
uh,
Okay.
everyone out there who has been watching this, who will watch this, and feel free to share the content. We actually would appreciate that a great deal, and give it a like and a thumbs up, and subscribe to the channels that it's shown on. Thank you so much. Thank you, Priyanka. Thank you, Shahnazar, sir, and Suchasmita. Have a great day.